So Google used to have this slogan, "Don't be evil." But this week, they might as well have changed the slogan for "Don't be stupid." Because this week, they fired a guy. And for what heinous crime did they fire him? Well, he wrote a memo, the general gist of which was equality of opportunity doesn't necessarily lead to equality of outcome. So women, for instance, might want to look for more security in a job or more flexible working conditions or just less risk. The choice is theirs. It's not a discrimination against them. Now, it was benign, couched language, and above all, it was true. And that cost him his job at Google. Look, the statements the guy made about biological differences between the sexes are true. This is why we break up the Olympics by gender. It's not because of sexism, but because of sexual dimorphism. Because otherwise, in a free Olympics, almost 100% of the gold medals would be won by men, because they can run faster, longer, jump higher, and so forth. And I want to be clear that just because men would win in all the harder, faster, stronger type events at the Olympics, that doesn't mean that they're superior at everything. They're different. They have different characteristics as a population. They behave differently as a population. Now, it should be said that the Olympics is largely a freak contest, which is one of the reasons why you see this dimorphism in such a pronounced fashion. But freaks of a population do tell you something generally about the population. Now, sure, these are all physical differences, but there are behavioral differences as well. And yeah, this is one of the very good reasons why testosterone is banned in the Olympics. Yep, sure, not only does it affect the physique of the athletes, but their behavior as well. And yep, so of course, you expect to see differences in the life choices of men and women because they're different. In this sense, the very act of striving for equality of outcome, for equal numbers, is to discriminate, to force a parity that just isn't naturally there. But as long as the playing field is level, who cares? Yes, companies should enforce a level playing field, but they shouldn't be in the business of coercing women into careers that they just don't want to choose. And yeah, it's fairly well known that men are bigger risk takers. And therefore, it's maybe not surprising that men end up taking the plurality of the riskier and better paid jobs, whereas women tend to prioritize security and safety. And this is one of the reasons why 90% of the work-related fatalities are men. I mean, it's just one of those things that you never see, is a feminist arguing that women should have equal amounts of risk to men in the workplace. But in report after report on the news, which I've been listening to as I'm going across the country, you would hear folks saying, yeah, but in Silicon Valley and places like Google, they're doing atrociously with only 25% women. Like that is somehow significant. Well, it's not as atrocious as if women were competing in the Olympics on a level playing field, where there would be 0% gold medals for women in the harder, faster, stronger type events. And why is it that all of these feminists are only outraged by the number of women in tech, and not, say, for instance, the number of women in garbage collection? Which, if you believe their rather callow argument, must just be because women are discriminated against in the garbage collection industry. Oh yeah, I mean, why the tech industry? Why the selective outrage? Maybe it's just time to examine the gender representation in Google's trash collectors, or the pay discrepancy in Google's trash collectors. As long as there's a level playing field, who cares? Is it really worth spending that much time trying to force people to do something that they're really not interested in? Look, across the UK, there are now more women signing up for universities than men. It's up to about 60% now. It's a big difference. But you don't hear me bitching about discrimination. No, because it's a level playing field. And if girls are making that choice to go to university, good for them. But even at that, you have people complaining that, yeah, but there really aren't enough women going into tech. Look, if they don't want to do it, why are you trying to force them? Now remember what I was saying about the Olympics is essentially a freak contest. The same is also true of any elite field. You're dealing with the extremes, with the freaks. And this is the way it goes with things like university researchers. These people are freaks, elites, and elites in one field typically tend to be deficient in others. If you want the elite in one field, you typically have to be flexible to the sort of people you're getting in. So it is in the science groups where I work, we have both Christians and feminists. And we all manage to get along because the key thing that we're doing here is science. And what gender or what religion people are really doesn't become an issue. Look, if you want to be a field leader in science, in tech, in politics, anything, you need the best, the elites, and largely all other considerations are secondary. If you're going to kick the best to the curb simply because they don't fit up to your desires to enforce this artificial parity on the workforce, your desire to tell young women what jobs they should and shouldn't be doing to reach this parity of employment numbers, then you're sacrificing ability for ideology. And you know what they fired the guy for? Promoting harmful gender stereotypes. Honestly, I think by doing that, they're promoting the harmful gender stereotype that women can't compete in the tech field without a helping hand from them. That is, they shouldn't have actually fired this guy, they should have fired the guy who fired him.